Hi, my name is Jerry Clark. I'm the California Rifle and Pistol Association's training coordinator, and today we're going to be showing you how to clean a rifle. All right, so as you go to clean your rifle, you need to make sure that there's no ammunition chambered, and you need to make sure that the magazine is actually out of the firearm. Now, no ammunition or magazine should be on the table while you're cleaning this firearm. All right, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to take the bolt out of this firearm. To do this, we're going to have to pull the trigger and slide the bolt back and take it out of the firearm. Now, on the table in front of me, I have my wire brush, I have my jag to put my patches on, and I also have a swab that I do use from time to time. Also, I have a brass brush and a nylon brush. No stainless steel brushes should ever be on the counter, because what's going to happen is it's going to strip the bluing off of your firearm. My patches are here, my gun solvent is here, my gun oil is here. I also have my safety glasses, which I'm going to put on right now. And also, I would highly recommend that you have a pair of gloves to put on, because the solvent is very hard on your hands and some of it does stink and doesn't smell very pretty. So, put your gloves on. Then once you get that done, then what we're going to start to do is we're going to start to go through the process of cleaning this firearm. Now, the first thing we're going to start with is we're going to start with the solvent. So we're going to open this up and we are going to pour a little bit of this solvent into the lid, because the last thing you want to do is to put any of the particulates that you get out of your barrel back into the firearm. So I am going to start with my rod and my brass brush. Now, my brass brush is going to actually clean any of the particulates that are in that barrel and kind of scrape them out. So you want to make sure that you go down and out several times in order to make sure that this is clean. And I can see already that I've got some lead coming out of the end of the barrel. So please take your time and do this several times so as that you break up everything that actually is in the barrel. Now, once you have completed this, then we're going to start working with our solvent. Now, I like to use the jag, which is here. Sometimes people like to use the patch holders. So I'm going to take my patch, I'm going to dip it in the solvent, and I'm going to stick it on the end of my jag, just like so. Then I am going to run this jag down the barrel so as that we can get all of the stuff out. And as you can see, it was a little tough going in, but you can see how dirty that patch is, which means that my firearm is dirty. Now, as you do this, you're probably going to have to do this several times in order to get the firearm clean. So continue to just dump it in, put it on the end of your jag, put it back into your firearm, and continue to clean. So it will go a lot easier now. There it goes. Because there wasn't so much buildup. And as you continue, you'll see that your patch will become a little bit cleaner than it was the first time. So this will take you several different times to do this. Now, the other thing is, once you get done with that, you can always take your swab, transfer this out, put your swab on the end of your rod, and you can use your swab instead of using a patch. And what happens is that swab will go through and it will clean everything out that you've put in that barrel. And you're going to see when this swab comes out that it's going to be a little dirty. And as you see, it came out a little dirty. So you're going to run that down there several times in order to make sure that you got everything out. So once you get to that point, then you need to take the time, and Q-tips come in handy in order to get into the action. So here I can clean the action with the Q-tips. They work really well. And what I'm speaking of is this. Get a little bit of solvent on there, get into the action, and you're going to see that these Q-tips are going to come out a little bit on the dirty side. See that? The Q-tips came out dirty. That happens because it's the gunpowder and the salt and the sulfur, it's the brass, it's the lead that kind of builds up in the firearm. So once you get that done, then your final process is going to be using some gun oil. And I can take another patch, I put a little bit of gun oil on it, and I would recommend running that back down the barrel just lightly, just a dab, nothing too much, just a dab. And all we're going to do is we're going to run this back down the barrel. And what it does is it just coats the barrel in order to make sure that we have everything out and everything that we need. So you want to run this down the barrel just to make sure that you put a little bit of oil in the barrel. And again, it came out just a tad bit dirty, but you're going to get that. It's going to happen. So once you get done with all of this, you're going to want to make sure that you turn around and you wipe everything down. Now, a nice silicone oil rag does really well, because what happens is a lot of times your fingerprints get left behind. And that's the reason why we wear gloves also. But it will help the stock, and it will also help your firearm as far as any metal. Just wipe it down, get your fingerprints off of it, and I would highly recommend that you take the time and put it away while you still have your gloves on. So just wipe down the firearm, and just as you can see as we finish, I don't see any more fingerprints and no more oil, no more residue, and I would put it away as soon as you're finished here. Now, to just reassemble this at the very end, all it takes is you taking the bolt, putting it back in place. You do have to pull the trigger in order to get it to lock in place. So make sure that your bolt is functioning properly once you're done. Now, the one thing that we do need to do is we need to make sure that we've actually cleaned the end of the bolt. So with a Q-tip, with a patch, you can do either. But just wipe it down, make sure that it's nice and clean. Now this, I would recommend that you put just a dab bit oil on and just kind of wipe it in, because these are the moving parts. This is what moves back and forth every single time you fire this firearm. So just put a little bit of oil on it. You can wipe it off when you're done. Get the excess oil off, just like so. Once you're done, now it's just a matter, again, reassembling your firearm. Just pull the trigger, it slides in place, just like so. It's back in place. I can feel it, feels nice and smooth. So now it's functioning properly. So take the time, make sure that there's no ammunition and no magazines on your bench, and then make sure you put on your gloves and your safety glasses. This is Jerry Clark with the CRPA. Have fun.